Okay, so I guess we can start off with, can you explain a little bit about what Stop Hunger Now is and like the mission and what you aim for?
Sure. Well, Stop Hunger Now is an international hunger relief organization. We are based in Raleigh, North Carolina, and our mission is to end hunger in our lifetime.
Okay. So what has been the challenging part with helping people in Haiti?
Well, the challenging part of helping people in Haiti, of course, in response to the earthquake, has just been the devastation to the whole infrastructure there. Typically, Stop Hunger Now has been working in Haiti for 12 years, and even over the last 4 years, we have shipped 6 million meals, another more than $4 million in in-kind aid, and we have delivered that aid through shipping it to partners that are established in country. One of the ways that Stop Hunger Now works around the world is through partnerships with in-country organizations that are already established in that country. And the reason that we work with in-country partners is we believe there's a lot more accountability to that. We work with groups that are well established in the community, know very well the communities that they're serving, and are strong enough as organizations to have relationships with the government, for example, where they can receive customs and in-kind or in-kind donations, customs and duty-free. So those relationships are very important to us. The situation responding to the earthquake was such that the port, of course, has been damaged for so long that it first hindered getting shipments by ocean directly into Port-au-Prince. We've been able to work around that by shipping to other ports in Cap-Haïtien, for example, and then working with our in-country partners to transport it from Cap-Haïtien to Port-au-Prince. But just being in touch with our partners and then working out those logistics has been very challenging in this particular instance.
Yeah. No, it sounds like, we're really, as an intern for J-Choice, we're really trying to promote your organization, and it seems like you've been doing a lot recently, especially recently now that I know what Stop Hunger Now is. I can tell that a lot has been done so far.
Well, probably, one of the biggest things that has helped us in that regard is the relationships that we've established there and have been supporting for years now. In fact, it makes us so well positioned to be able to respond to the crisis with the earthquake because we have been working with local organizations for so long now. In fact, just prior to the earthquake, we had just shipped about 1.5 million meals to Haiti, the majority of which arrived the third week in December. So one of the first messages that we got from our partner on the ground there, a group called Mission of Hope, was that they were using meals that we had just shipped in December to feed about 50,000 people a day in the feeding center that they've established there.
So I'm going to skip the next question, get back to it. You don't only work with the people and organizations in Haiti, but as I understand, but how has Stop Hunger Now become an international leader in humanitarian relief?
The key thing for Stop Hunger Now in terms of being a leader in humanitarian relief is our efforts to form strategic partners with not only organizations that are working directly in the countries where we're trying to serve, but also with other partners that we just feel it's so important to partner with other organizations in order to achieve what is a very broad goal of ending hunger in our lifetime. So, for example, in this particular instance, we got a call just after the earthquake had struck from one of the organizations we're partnering with, which is Friends of the World Food Program. Friends of the World Food Program is more of an advocacy organization generating support for the World Food Program, which is the largest largest humanitarian aid distributor in the world. But Friends of the World Food Program was not in a position to be able to receive in-kind aid the way in which Stop Hunger Now can. So one of the first calls we got was from Friends of the World Food Program offering to refer people to Stop Hunger Now who did have large quantities of in-kind aid. So, but again, these are partnerships that we've really worked to establish. We've also worked with other larger organizations, Food for the Hungry, for example, MAP International is another one, various groups that, through becoming associated with them, we're able to have much more of an impact. Just the other thing that we've seen is that just Stop Hunger Now's ability to respond and provide aid has really increased dramatically over the last 4 years through the expansion of our meal packaging program. And this is where groups of volunteers come together and package meals that we use to support, in particular, school feeding programs, but also those meals are used in crisis situations like these in Haiti. A group of 50 volunteers can package about 10,000 high-protein dehydrated meals in about 2 hours. And so that program, which we started here in Raleigh, has grown now, and we're in 8 different locations throughout North Carolina, Virginia, Mississippi, and now even Arizona. And we're growing that each year, so that over the course of 4 years now, we've involved 50,000 volunteers in packaging about 20 million meals. And the reason that's important is that not only are the meals that these volunteers are packaging, not only are they in themselves important for addressing hunger, but just the act of having those volunteers involved in the packaging process is educating, we believe, helping to build the grassroots movement to end hunger. One of the things that we believe that is so important is that hunger is not a resource issue. There is enough food to feed everyone around the world. And what is missing is the will to end hunger. That is, having enough people aware of hunger and who it affects and why it exists, and then most importantly, realizing what they can do as individuals to help address it. And we believe that through creating that grassroots movement, we can end hunger in our lifetime. We know, for example, that if the World Food Program estimates that if we were to start a school feeding program around the world, that we could cut hunger in half within 10 years. And that, through people being involved, is very doable. So that's what we're working towards.
Okay, so you kind of touched base on one of my questions. Do you think world hunger can eventually be combated? And like what kind of global effort? But how do you think, all of us, as in citizens of this world, can help it's hard as a 20-year-old student to think, well, what can I do to help? But what do you suggest students to do who are like in my position right now to help, whether it's the people in Haiti or people in Africa? Like, what do you suggest we do?
Sure. Well, there are a number of things that students can do in particular. One is learning about hunger and why it exists. Clearly, there are a number of reasons why hunger exists in the world, everything from